Warren Haynes is an American rock and blues guitarist, vocalist and songwriter. Haynes is best known for his work as longtime guitarist with the Allman Brothers Band and as founding member of the jam band Gov't Mule. Early in his career he was a guitarist for David Allan Coe and the Dickey Band. Haynes also is known for his associations with the surviving members of the Grateful Dead, including touring with Lesh and Friends and the Dead. In addition, Haynes founded and manages Evil Teen Records. Personal background and style: in addition to singing and playing acoustic and electric guitar, Haynes is also a songwriter. He spent his formative years in Asheville, North Carolina, where he was born, and lived with his two older brothers and his father, Edward Haynes. He began playing guitar at age 12. His primary guitar is a Gibson Les Paul 58 reissue electric guitar. His choice of a 58 is most likely because of Duane Allman's famed 58 Les Paul and the tone he achieved with that, rather than the more commonly used 59 Les Paul model, popularized by guitarists such as Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page. Haynes has referred to himself as a Gibson man, often playing Gibson Firebird and Gibson ES 335 models as well as the Les Paul models. This was acknowledged by the American guitar maker Gibson Guitar Corporation, which has included a limited edition Warren Haynes signature Les Paul in its product line. Built according to Haynes' specifications and modeled on his 58 Les Paul. Haynes is married to Stefani Scamado, a DJ for Sirius Radio and the longtime manager of Gov't Mule. Influences: in a 2006 interview with Gibson.com's Backstage Pass, Haynes explains his early influences: "When I first started chronologically speaking, Hendrix and Clapton and Johnny Winter were the first three people I got turned on to. That was the Cream era of Clapton. Then eventually, I heard the Allman Brothers and everybody else from that era that I stole something from. Of course, I would read interviews with all these people and find out who they listened to. And they all listened to B.B. King and Freddie King and Albert King and Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters and Elmore James, so I would go back and discover that stuff." During the same 2006 interview, Haynes talked about his realization of how much the blues had influenced his one-time employer, David Allan Coe. "When I joined Coe's band, I realized how much he loved blues. Whenever his voice was tired on tour, we would go out, just the two of us, and open up with a bunch of Jimmy Reed songs. Then segue that into the show. One by one, the drummer would walk on and the bass player would walk on, and eventually the whole band would be on stage. He was really influenced by Jimmy Reed and Lightnin' Hopkins. That stuff was way back in his formative years, so whenever it came out, it was very genuine." Professional career: The early years and David Allan Coe. Warren Haynes joined David Allan Coe's touring and recording band in 1980 when he was 20 years old. He remained with Coe's band for 4 years. After Coe, Haynes got a gig with the Nighthawks, while continuing to play with local musicians and doing session guitar and vocal work. One notable achievement of this period is a song he co-wrote with Dennis Robbins and Bobby Boyd for country musician Garth Brooks, titled Two of a Kind, Workin' on a Full House, which was released on the album No Fences and remained the #1 single on Billboard's Hot Country Singles and Tracks chart for 20 weeks. Dickey Band and the Allman Brothers Band. Around 1987, Haynes got a call to perform backup vocals on a studio album by Dickey, along with Dennis Robbins. Betts, who had concentrated on his solo career following the breakup of the Allman Brothers Band, decided to add Haynes to his band as his guitarist after the session. With Matt Abts on drums and Johnny Neal on keyboards, the now-formed Dickey Band released the 1988 album Pattern Disruptive. In the same year, Haynes also co-wrote the title track for Greg Allman's solo album Just Before the Bullets Fly. In 1989, the Allman Brothers Band decided to reunite, and Betts recruited Haynes to join the band. Also joining were Neal on keyboards and Alan Woody on bass guitar. Haynes has since played on 4 well-received studio albums, including the gold-certified Where It All Begins. It was that same year when Warren played to his biggest audience ever with the Allman Brothers at Woodstock '94. Haynes and Woody left the group in March 1997 to focus solely on their side project Gov't Mule. Shortly after Woody's untimely death on August 26, 2000, Haynes began appearing with the Allman Brothers Band again in 2000 alongside young guitar prodigy Derek Trucks. He returned to the band as a full-time member a few months later and has remained active every year with the Allman Brothers since. He also has played on 4 official live releases from the band, including the 2003 DVD Live at the Beacon Theatre. On January 8, 2014, Haynes and Trucks jointly announced their respective plans to leave the ABB by the end of 2014, following the conclusion of the band's celebration of its 45th anniversary. Gov't Mule. In 1994, Haynes formed Gov't Mule with Apts and Woody. Haynes and Woody initially split time between Gov't Mule and the Allman Brothers Band, but after the Allman Brothers' last show of their 1997 run at New York's Beacon Theatre on March 26, 1997, both left the band to focus on Gov't Mule full-time. They released 3 albums and became known for their powerful live performances. Some of these performances have been released as official live albums. On August 26, 2000, Allan Woody died unexpectedly. Following his death, a decision was made to finish the tour acoustically as the Smile at Half-Mast Tour. Gov't Mule released 2 studio albums and a live album DVD featuring many of Woody's favorite bass players. In 2003, Andy Hess and Danny Louie were added as permanent members to the group. Late the following year, this lineup released their first studio effort, Deja Voodoo, which later included an EP of newly recorded material titled Mo Voodoo. After recording 2006's High and Mighty, Gov't Mule also released a dub EP titled Mighty High and a DVD titled Tale of Two Cities that contained 2 full performances recorded in 2004 and 2006. The 2 shows on the DVD captured the first show of the Deja Voodoo tour and the last show of the High and Mighty tour, serving to encapsulate what was created over those 2 years. In 2008, Andy Hess left Gov't Mule to pursue other projects and was replaced by relative unknown, Jörgen Karlsson. By a Thread, the first studio album from Gov't Mule featuring Karlsson, was released in 2009 on Haynes' own label, Evil Teen Records. In 2010, they went back to the vault and released Millennium, a 3-disc recording of a show from New Year's Eve 1999 in Atlanta. This was the first official recording released of the original trio since the death of Allan Woody in 2000. It also featured an appearance by Little Milton, one of Haynes' guitar heroes from his youth. The Dead. Since the death of Jerry Garcia in 1995, Haynes has performed and toured with many of the surviving members of the Grateful Dead. In 1997, Haynes and Apts came on stage to jam with Bob Weir and Rob Wasserman in a small club. The performance was being filmed for Robert Mugg's film on Robert Johnson, Hellhound on My Trail. Then in 1999, Phil Lesh approached him to play lead guitar and sing for his solo group Phil Lesh and Friends, where he played for 3 years. In 2004, when the Dead were in need of a new guitarist, they called upon Haynes to come play lead and sing for that summer's Wave That Flag tour. His run with the Dead ended on a night where he came in with them, then performed a solo acoustic set, and then ended the night playing with the Allman Brothers Band and started out on his next tour with them. He played lead guitar for the Dead again in late 2008 when they performed at a benefit at Penn State for then presidential candidate Barack Obama, later touring with them in the spring of 2009. Solo artist and guest appearances. In 1993, Haynes released his first solo album, Tales of Ordinary Madness, which was produced by former Allman Brother keyboardist Chuck Leavelle. He toured briefly in support of the record with various musicians, including Danny Louie. In 2003 and 2004, Haynes released 2 solo acoustic albums, The Lone EP, a collection of live performances, and Live from Bonnaroo, which documents his solo performance at the 2003 Bonnaroo Music Festival. When not touring with one of his electric bands, Haynes will often take time out to do solo acoustic shows, which include a variety of well-known and rare covers along with his own material. In 2004, Warren Haynes performed 5 full-length solo acoustic shows, as well as opened 23 times for the Dead and once for the Allman Brothers Band. He has also made 45 song appearances and 28 concert appearances with Dave Matthews Band, including on 2 released live albums, Live at Central Park Concert in which he performed Cortez the Killer, and Jimmy Thing, and Live at Piedmont Park where he performed, What Would You Say? In 2005, Haynes performed a one-time-only show under the name Warren Haynes and Friends. The band included acts on drums, Dave Schools of Widespread Panic on bass, John Medsky of Medsky Martin and Wood and Skerrick, the avant-garde sax player of bands such as Critters Buggin' and Les Claypool's Fearless Flying Frog Brigade. The group played a selection of blues songs, including songs of Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Tom Waits, and Gov't Mule standards. The band was also featured as the house band during a number of tapings of Last Call with Carson Daly in early February 2005. During one of these tapings, the scheduled musical act was absent, so Haynes performed an acoustic rendition of U2's One. The song also appeared on his Live from Bonnaroo album. In 2008, Haynes covered the Bob Dylan song I Shall Be Released with Coheed and Cambria, as part of an encore the band played during their shows in support of Neverender. After recording Gov't Mule's By a Thread album, Haynes formed the Warren Haynes Band. The group included George Porter, Jr. on bass, Ivan Neville on keys and Raymond Webber on drums. Also joining them on keys was Ian McLagan, as well as vocalist Ruthie Foster and Ron Holloway on tenor sax. The Warren Haynes Band made their debut performance at Haynes' annual Christmas Jam in Asheville, North Carolina on December 11, 2010. The album Man in Motion was released in May 2011 and debuted in the Billboard Top 20. An extensive tour occurred after the release through the rest of 2011. The touring version of the band included Holloway, drummer Terrence Higgins of the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, bassist Ron Johnson, keyboardist Nigel Hall, and various vocalists either Foster, Alfreda Gerald, or Alicia Charcoal. The Warren Haynes Band's Live at the Moody Theatre 2 CD/1 DVD package came out in April 2012 on Stax Records. The lineup on the recording consisted of Warren Haynes, Ron Holloway, Ron Johnson, Terrence Higgins, Nigel Hall and Alicia Charcoal. Haynes has stated that his further solo efforts might take him into still other fields. There are other projects I want to do too, he relates. I'm interested in recording a singer-songwriter-oriented album with more acoustic instruments, a jazzy instrumental CD and a straight-up blues record. But like Man in Motion, those albums will have to wait until the time is right. The Christmas Jam. Starting in 1988, Haynes put together an annual charity benefit show, inviting musicians originally from his hometown of Asheville who were home for Christmas, the only time of year they would all be in town at the same time. The first show, held at the 45 Cherry Club in Asheville on December 29, 1988, was dubbed the Christmas Jam, Musicians Xmas Reunion. Some of the artists at the first Christmas Jam were Warren Haynes, Mike Barnes, Crystal Zoo, The Strip Band, Ronnie Burgeon and the Allman Brothers Band. In the initial years the proceeds from the concert were donated to various charities but eventually the organizers decided to focus on Habitat for Humanity, a charity that builds houses for the disadvantaged. In tribute to his financial support of Habitat for Humanity, a subdivision in Lower Hominy, North Carolina, a suburban township near Asheville, has a street named after Haynes. In 2002, Haynes was presented with the key to the city by Asheville Mayor Charles Worley. In 2003, Worley proclaimed December 18 as Warren Haynes Day in Asheville. The event has continued to grow every year and is now dubbed Warren Haynes Presents, the Christmas Jam. Due to increasing audience demand, the show was eventually moved to the Asheville Civic Center. In 2008, for its 20th anniversary, the Christmas Jam consisted of 2 nights of music, including the Christmas Jam by day, a series of events including daytime concerts, movie screenings, and art, photo, and poster exhibits taking place in downtown Asheville on the days leading up to the show. The event reverted to one night in 2009, but retained the Christmas Jam by day, and included the new Christmas Comedy Jam. The same format was repeated in 2010. Instructional videos. Haynes has recorded 2 instructional videos, electric blues and slide guitar and acoustic slide and the art of electric improvisation. He discusses his influences and shows an array of techniques such as call and response, string bending, vibrato, slide guitar and standard tuning and some acoustic open tuning licks in G and E tunings. For the demonstrations of the electric improvisation section of the second video, he is accompanied by Allan Woody and Matt Abts. Taping policy. All of Warren Haynes' projects allow audio taping and trading. He does not approve of video recording or photography of his performances and does not provide access to soundboard patches. Pristine soundboard recordings are available in MP3 and lossless formats up to 24-bit super high fidelity for a nominal charge through the band's website and through livedownloads.com. The Allman Brothers Band also allows taping and trading, but does not allow distribution of their shows via the Internet via applications such as BitTorrent. The reason given for this restriction is that it is more communal to trade person to person. In a 2005 USA Today article, Haynes stated that while tape trading may cut into band profits, the benefits outweigh the drawbacks due to an increased fan base. Discography. This discography lists those releases involving Warren Haynes, including his various bands, other projects and guest appearances. Solo recordings and Warren Haynes Band Tales of Ordinary Madness, 1993, The Lone EP, 2003, Live at Bonnaroo, 2004, Man in Motion, 2011, Live at the Moody Theatre, 2012, Ashes and Dust, 2015. With the Allman Brothers Band Seven Turns, 1990, Shades of Two Worlds, 1991, An Evening with the Allman Brothers Band, First Set, 1992, Where It All Begins, 1994, An Evening with the Allman Brothers Band, Second Set, 1995, Hit in the Note, 2003 also production credits, One Way Out, 2004 also production credits, Play All Night, Live at the Beacon Theatre 1992, 2014 also production credits. With Gov't Mule Gov't Mule, 1995, Live at Rosalind Ballroom, 1996, Dose, 1998, Live. With a Little Help from Our Friends, 1999, Life Before Insanity, 2000, Wintertime Blues, The Benefit Concert, 2000, The Deep End, Volume 1, 2001, The Deep End, Volume 2, 2002, The Deepest End, Live in Concert, 2003, Deja Voodoo, 2004, Mo Voodoo, 2005, High and Mighty, 2006, Mighty High, 2007, Holy Haunted House, 2007, By a Thread, 2009, Millennium, 2010, Shout. 2013 Dark Side of the Mule, 2015, Sko Mule, 2015. With the Dave Matthews Band The Central Park Concert, 2003, Live at Piedmont Park, 2007, Live Tracks Volume 20. With the Derek Trucks Band Out of the Madness, 1998 a vocal obbligato and lead guitar on Good Morning Little Schoolgirl, 44, and Death Letter, Already Free, 2009 a writing credits on Back Where I Started. Miscellaneous Garth Brooks a No Fences, 1990 a writing credits on Two of a Kind, Workin' on a Full House, Buckwheat Zydeco a Lay Your Burden Down, 2009 a writing credits and slide guitar on Lay Your Burden Down, Jack Cassidy a Dream Factor, 2003 a lead guitar on Outside, and Sweden, David Allan Coe a Live a If That Ain't Country. 1997, Corrosion of Conformity a America's Volume Dealer, 2000 a slide guitar on Stare Too Long, Dickey Betts Band a Pattern Disruptive, 1988, Greg Allman Band a Just Before the Bullets Fly, 1988 a writing credits on Before the Bullets Fly, Beth Hart a 37 Days, 2007 a writer of Soul Shine, Kevn Kinney a The Flower and the Knife, 2000 a producer. Guitar and backing vocals on most tracks, The Lay Claypool Frog Brigade a Purple Onion, 2002 a guitar on Buzzards of Green Hill, Little Milton a Welcome to Little Milton, 1999 a Gov't Mule guests on 2 tracks, Larry McRae a Delta Hurricane, 1993 a Writer of Soul Shine, for Lesh and Friends a There and Back Again, 2002, William Shatner a Seeking Major Tom, 2011 a Guitar on Twilight Zone. Compilations Freeway Jam, To Beck and Back, 2007 a The Pump, Hempilation, Freedom is NORML, 1995 a with Gov't Mule on Don't Step on the Grass, Sam. With Drivin' N Cryin' on 2 Rolling Stoned, Hempilation, Volume 2, Free the Weed, 1998 a with Gov't Mule on 30 Days in the Hole, Hound Dog Taylor, Attribute, 1998 a with Gov't Mule on Gonna Send You Back to Georgia, Occupy This Album, 2012 a Rivers Gonna Rise, Tommy Bolin and Friends, Great Gypsy Soul, 2012 a also production credits. References. External links, official website.